I'm Tim McMahon. As a lifelong resident of Northwest Ohio, there's two things I know. We love food, and there's plenty of places to chow down. This month, we're celebrating Restaurant Week right here on 419. Oh, look at that.
Fantastic.
To kick things off, I caught up with Kristen Kaiser, owner of Black Kite Coffee and Pies, at her shop in the Old West End. You guys are doing Restaurant Week. Tell me a little bit about what you're going to be doing for that.
We are doing Restaurant Week. We have a couple great pies on the menu. We do a really nice little combo. We do a pie and soup combo or a salad and soup combo, and any medium drink for $11.
Kristen and her husband, Andrew, set up shop in 2012 when they realized a need for a local, welcoming coffee house.
There was one coffee shop downtown, but it was closed on Sundays at the time. And the other one was all the way across town at Westgate. And it was a corporate coffee shop, and we didn't want to do that. So we were just kind of playing around with the idea of, wouldn't it be fun if, what about that empty shop on the corner of Collingwood and Delaware? This place at the time was all boarded up and it was empty. And that conversation rolled into many other conversations, which then landed us here. And in an environment like this, where you have a small community-based coffee shop, the only way you survive is through the support of the community. So the community is our Black Kites, and we celebrate them every day with the support that they bring us.
And part of that community is other local businesses, including Flying Rhino, which provides Black Kite with their delicious and addictive coffee. But Kristen and her baristas serve up more than just hot cups of joe.
We play around quite a bit. There's always a latte of the week, and one of the cool things about that is that the staff comes up with it. We just it is always generated by the staff. Somebody sort of has a moment of inspiration and they create a drink for the week, and that's our drink for the week.
The name of the shop is Black Kite Coffee and Pies, which is music to my ears.
When we are talking about what sort of environment we wanted to have in the shop, it was very important that we have food. We're foodie. My husband and I are foodies, and we spent quite a while trying to figure out what kind of food we were going to have. We didn't want to be a deli. We wanted to be a coffee shop, and we wanted to be somewhat unique in that environment. We have to have food. When you sit down, you're hanging out, you're working, you're studying, you need a little bit of something to nosh on.
Kristen was inspired to serve hand pies while on vacation in San Francisco.
There's a pie shop out there that makes fresh pies every day with different savory fillings. We thought, this is it. This is what we get to do.
Conscious of the tastes of her guests, there is always one meat-based pie and one vegetarian pie on the menu. But hand pies aren't the only items filling the bellies of patrons.
We have two kinds of bagel balls. There's always a vegetarian version of everything, like I mentioned. So there is what we call a breakfast ball, and the breakfast ball is bagel dough, and it is stuffed with cream cheese, sausage, and eggs, scrambled eggs. And we make those daily. And then we have a version for vegetarians, which is roasted red peppers, chives, and cream cheese.
Wow, outstanding.
Ever since Trevor Dieter opened Dietz Barbecue in 2010, his award-winning food has flourished into some of the most in-demand grub in Northwest Ohio. With his empire expanding to another restaurant at the Crossroads in Rossford in 2017, I had to go behind the scenes to see how Dieter creates his mouth-watering magic. We're gonna get a look at some ribs, huh?
You got it. So these are our St. Louis style ribs. Want to give these a flip?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just gonna reach in there and flip them
So
right
you
over.
gotta get kind of deep, huh?
Yep, you got it. Man, that was
Nice.
perfect.
Thank you.
Sauce the back of these a little bit.
So you put a little bit of sauce on them?
Yep.
But I notice your stuff isn't dripping with sauce.
You got it. And actually, until the customer orders it, we don't have anything that has barbecue sauce on it whatsoever. We like to pay a little bit more for some good quality meat, and so they taste a good seasoned product, and they don't have to be drowned in a sweet, sticky barbecue sauce unless they'd like it. Now we're gonna cut these up right over here on this cutting board. This here is a full rack. A half rack would be 5 to 6 bones. A full rack's 10 to 12.
Yeah,
go
it's
ahead.
hot.
Get after it.
That is great. Next up was Dietz pulled pork brisket concoction known as the Big Pete. Look at that.
So that's your brisket. little bit of our sweet barbecue sauce, and then this sandwich is finished off with a little bit of our creamy coleslaw.
Outstanding. If poultry is your game, Dietz puts its own spin on chicken chunks.
Around Toledo, I feel like chicken chunks are like everywhere.
Yep.
Ours are totally different. They're not breaded or fried. So we take the whole white meat chicken breast, dry rub it, smoke it, cut it into these portions, and then we take it on the grill, grill it up. Again, you can choose if you want barbecue sauce or not. And then we cube it up and serve it that way. So it's just whole white meat chicken breast, grilled, smoked. It's not breaded or fried.
Another winner. I could see some mac and cheese maybe complementing this
yeah,
well.
We can do some mac and cheese.
We kept the cheese flowing with an order of pulled pork nachos.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Then Trevor whipped up a batch of Dietz addicting cornbread.
It's an easy add-on to any meal, and it's definitely almost like a dessert.
Fresh cornbread right out of the oven. Phenomenal.
Cool,
Thanks
man.
a lot, man.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Check them out, Dietz Barbecue.
Most of us know about Restaurant Week, but what is the mission behind it? We stop by these local restaurants, eat their delicious meals, but where's the money going? These two students will tell you. Katie Carbon and Russell Chapman both are exceptional students. Katie goes to St. Ursula Academy and Russell skipped 2 grades at Jones Leadership Academy. These are 2 young adults hand-picked to be leaders in our community.
It makes you like I'm 1 in a million, or 2 in a million, but 1 in a million. It's very great to represent your school and to have the school pride to let you know that you're going to be part of Youth Leadership Toledo and you're picked out of all these people.
Leadership Toledo has 2 components, an adult program and youth programs. Hundreds of students from Anthony Wayne, Bowsher, Maumee, Notre Dame, Swanton, Toledo Christian, Waite, and the list goes on. Students from the Toledo and surrounding areas want to give back. Youth Leadership Toledo gives them that opportunity by narrowing down a list to 50 high school sophomores.
Our first YLT session was on the top floor of the Fifth Third building in downtown Toledo. So that in and of itself was super exciting, but a little bit intimidating just because it was such a new and cool experience.
There with them to watch 50 transformations is Christina White.
Christina White, Director of Community Impact for Leadership Toledo. Every one of us has something inside of us that we have to give.
Christina calls out 4 powerful words to describe what they do: lead, connect, grow, and serve.
We work with adults and youth, and we foster the opportunities for them to identify how they can lead. What type of leader are they? We connect them with like-minded individuals, whether you are in your 70s or whether you are 14.
For 10th grader Russell, who's also taking senior classes, chess holds a special place in his heart.
I made a lot of new friends and I decided to stay, and it was like the best thing I ever did. We talk about culture and particularly African American culture, and we talked about chess. It's just a beautiful game.
But what does chess have to do with Youth Leadership Toledo?
I started as a class because it was a critical thinking class.
Critical thinking, exactly what Russell needed to take with him to YLT.
When I was told I did something wrong, I was like, oh, why did I do that? And then I overthink things. But in chess, it's taught me to think before you act.
We sit down with our students and we talk about all the opportunities, and we give them the chance to say, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do.
One of our group members jokingly suggested, let's just build a house. That being said, a few months later, we had hosted our first annual Color for Camo run. That raised enough money to house 10 veterans and veteran families that year.
To date, they have housed more than 50 veterans and veterans' families.
So the whole idea of let's build a house, something that seemed so far-fetched and unrealistic, wasn't so unrealistic once we just put our minds to it.
From building homes to playing chess, now cooking, Restaurant Week makes this and much more possible.
Because of the success of Restaurant Week, it doesn't cost our youth participants or their schools anything. They're able to grow in leadership, in service, in themselves as an individual without anybody sending them an invoice to say, and this is how much it's going to cost you.
fun fact, I'm on student council, and so Youth Leadership at Toledo has taught me what's going on in the community, so I can inform my student council representatives and what's going on in the community.
Because of YLT, these students can excel in Students in Action. SIA is a component of the National Jefferson Awards Foundation. Some students receive the nation's highest honors for community service and volunteerism.
And now we have an initiative that is available to over 35,000 students in the greater Toledo region. We have over 40 schools that at one level or another, there are 3 different levels of participation with Students in Action, but it is not a club, it is not an organization. There are leadership teams in the schools, but it is a way for training to be made available, recognition to be celebrated of service, but when you cut through all of the chase, what it is empowering the voice of youth.
When we identify something that we think we can do that will make a big impact, we go and we make that impact now.
Go to www.restaurantweektoledo.com. There you'll see a list. That list is broken down by breakfast, coffee, lunch, dinner, and location. So, eat well. I'm Bridget Burnett, the host of the Daily Downtown. More from Restaurant Week on 4 1 Nosh.